Japan Nationals has come and gone, and we're here to cover this bad boy because it's interesting to see how the format over there is shaping up, to see how our meta will also shape in reflection of it. Some big 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-loving crap out of that subscribe button. You know you should be smashing it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. Now, your breakdown for top 16 for this event is actually a very, very interesting story here. Ishizu Tier Elements had 7 of your top 16. Now, I think the thing that's most interesting about all of this is we've seen just how crazy that deck is in terms of how it works. You know, you've heard me make a lot of references on this channel just to like how you watch like the power scaling, like the shiftability, like the adaptability, you know, like the beasted or bisted archetype, however you want to pronounce that, does exist to kind of counteract, you know, the tier elements force requiring themselves to shuffle in. While that's true, and a lot of players have adapted towards, you know, methods of trying to counter that, interestingly enough, it still took the near highest representation for that. So good job. We also had 3 sprites in Top Cut. Now, the interesting thing with Sprite in the OCG is they don't have Hulk. They don't have, you know, Toad anymore. They do have Union Carrier on the other hand, though. And trust me when I say this, it's pretty disgusting when the deck actually gets going. Then we had 3 Performapal Draco Slayer decks in Top Cut. Now, the thing that's interesting about this was all 3 Draco Slayer players all brought the same build. There was some sort of interactions there. They got the chance to kind of collaborate and talk with each other, and looks like they worked on it together. Now, Draco Slayer, Performapal actually taking off. I mean, yeah, they have Electromite. I understand, like, that's extra filtering and options that they can have there. But the thing that's most interesting about this is Pendulum has been so quiet for so long that you kind of look at this event and you're like, oh, because I don't think anybody out of left field really considered the fact that Performapal Draco Slayer, especially when they're playing the new Link 4 out of Darkwing Blast, that basically is 1 Link 4 in order to, you know, just cycle into it because it's 1+ for the summoning requirements. Most of their combos stepped through that, and it ended up, you know, bridging a lot of gaps. But now that these new pieces are on the field here, you are getting the chance to see the birth of a new particular meta deck. Now, did it end up winning the event? No. But it did end up getting 2nd and 4th, while, you know, Ishizu Tier Elements did get 1st and 3rd. So kind of reflective of what's going on there. I think for the most part that's pretty interesting to note in itself, that, you know, this deck came out of, it might not have been nowhere for them, but when you look at like the landscape of their metagame, everything you hear online, yeah, it was a pretty big left field turnover. Now, we also had the Naturia Vernelsos, the Naturia deck, what we're going to call it, uses the Earth Fairy box to kind of expedite the process overall with things and make the deck function with big negates, which actually is very, very nice. It had a pretty decent representation, but it's been acting more as like a little rogue deck at this point. Like, I know a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, whoa, Robbie, Naturia has potential? Yeah, if you guys watch OCG Thursday, we saw one of those lists show up last week where a lot of people were just genuinely like, oh, you know, that's a big thing here. Now, there are 2 decks that are missing from the breakdown, but they are expected to be Ishizu and or Sprite variants as well. So overall, in terms of your breakdown, when you have a big event like this, it is very nice to see that, you know, you can always see the unexpected come out here and can make players genuinely take a step back and go, oh my gosh, you know, because it's always one of the big things with Yu-Gi-Oh! And events here. Information will be key. If you figure out something, you know, case in point here, you have 3 players take the same deck, step up to the plate, and take the event effectively. I would say a 2nd and 4th place with Performapal Draco Slayer definitely is worth talking about, and that's basically the most interesting stuff really out of this event. So you think current format is an absolute crapshoot? Let me tell you, man, we level up one more level of power creep here in the near future, and it only gets way more interesting from here. Now we're going to pass on over so you can take a look at some of these deck lists from the Japan Championship. Winning the Japan Championship here was none other than Tier Elements. Now the first thing I want to say about this is no Exchange of the Spirit. They've pretty much cut Exchange to just gain infinitely better results. Now, the other thing that you'll see down here next to the field spell is actually Tier Elements Scream. If a monster is normal or special summon, and you control a Tier Elements monster, you get to go ahead and mill 3 cards of your deck. All face the monster opponent controls lose 500 attack, and if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add a Tier Elements trap from your deck to your hand. So just whenever your opponent does something, once per turn, you get to mill 3. Huh, that triggers a fusion summon during my opponent's turn or facilitates extra milling. That is crazy to me, man. You also see down here the reason why Borreload Dragon has been going up in price, because the OCG Championship was showing and focusing on one of those extra deck cards. When decks like this come out, people definitely will take a look at topping deck list and go, wow, you know, Borreload Dragon ended up showing up in a list? Yes, it did. Now, second place here is our Draco Slayer list, and man, oh man, watching this deck take off was an absolute wonder. All right, now, obviously, Electromite did facilitate a lot of the combos that this deck wants to do, and a lot of people are looking at this going, well, you know, this is just OCG Draco, pal. Like, this is just an abnormality. I've seen a couple people talking about, after this event was over, that they've been looking at, you know, OCG and adjusting it to the TCG, and a few people are talking about with Hulk they can do a lot more. So that's something interesting to note here, that players are already kind of taking a look at what's going on here and going, I think we can go even further beyond with this. So the era of Pendulum looks like it might be back here. And like I said, one of the key players for this deck I definitely noticed was your Link 4 down there. Being able to convert an Apo or, you know, an access code talker into it was really, really good. All right. And then, of course, the Nightmare Cerberus in the side deck. As we go on down here to third place. Now, this list did not play Scream. All right. Actually, this list didn't really care. This is more like what your normal build would look like. But keep in mind that we have foregone, you know, the inclusion of certain things as well. Once again, there's Borreload, backhanded again down here in the extra deck. So that's 2 Tier Elements decks that both stepped up to the plate here. Both did the exact same thing. Now you also take note here that this one has like the full Beasted archetype in the side deck. I definitely want to point out here that Beasted being able to spot removal and do the additional things that they do is really, really good. And trust me when I say this, DD Crow is a good card, but special symbol summoning a larger body and then removing and then doing other things feels really, really good. And then we'll show top 4 here as well. Do keep in mind that this build is very, 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 very similar to our other build in terms of development here with some side deck changes. You know, this one has an Exciton Knight in terms of its things. And then, of course, they have the additional package in here for the Ishizu stuff. Because when you can interact with your opponent's Ishizu stuff and kind of create, like, some shuffle back windows, yeah, it's really good. What better way to fight the toxicity with bringing in your own toxicity to counteract it? It's definitely an interesting choice that I didn't really think would capitalize and work out, but it looks like it has in the long run. Also, once again, you know, you see the power of, you know, Solemn, God, just being able to fully set one. I mean, considering the fact, like, you have really no back row to care about, and just bringing in a Judgment and a Scolding should work out in your favor. Overall, for the Japan Championship, yeah, it's a much different metagame. I understand that. A lot of people are going to look at this video and they're going to go, what in the world am I looking at here? You're looking at a lot of interaction points within the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That are very good. Some ideas here might be adaptable, all right? Pretty sure that Triff is going to have some excitement here in the near future because, you know, Pendulum bad deck. So we'll have to wait and see how players grab this info, how they shake it up a little bit, and how they adapt it for us. So what do you guys think about the Japan Championship? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.